Today, we are talking with a man who was more than a country legend, an entertainer, a storyteller, a guy who brought happiness into the lives of millions across the globe, and that would be Roy Clark. If you ever heard him play that guitar or just light up that screen on Hee Haw, well, you'd know just how special he was. But of course, that is merely part of the story. Now, let's dive into this fantastic life of Roy Clark. Roy Linwood Clark was born on April 15, 1933 in Hehw, Virginia. Growing up, Roy was born into one of those families where music was not a leisure activity but part of everyday living. His father was a semi-professional musician who could play an array of instruments, and it wasn't long before the young Roy joined him. By the time he turned pre-teen, he had already mastered the banjo, guitar and fiddle, and let me tell you, he wasn't good. He was incredible. At just the age of 15 years, he was already starting to win national banjo championships. Can you imagine being this great at such a tender age? But the road to Roy's success was never easy. He quit high school and declared music his focus. He performed wherever he could during his early years. Local bars, radio shows, small places. This unassuming origin led him to mature as an artist and instilled in him a respectful awareness of the labor it took to make it in the business. The 1950s were a time when Roy's genius finally began to be appreciated by many more. With regular appearances in TV shows such as The Jimmy Dean Show and The Tonight Show, Roy wowed audiences with his wit and charm no less than his magic fingers. Not a simple musician, he was an entertainer. One moment he had you in stitches, the other with his guitar in his hands, agog in amazement. And then, in 1969, everything changed. That's when Roy became the co-host of Hee Haw, a country music variety show that mixed comedy, music, and down-home charm. If you've never seen it, imagine a show where the jokes are cheesy, the music is incredible, and the energy is infectious. Roy, along with his co-host Buck Owens, was the heart and soul of the show. It ran for almost 30 years and catapulted Roy Clark to household name status. But while Hee Haw brought him mainstream fame, Roy never stopped making music. He recorded hit songs like the tender ballad "Yesterday When I Was Young," one of his signature tracks. He also gave us "Tips of My Fingers" and "Thank God" and "Greyhound," a melding of emotional storytelling with his singular wit. Roy wasn't just a country artist. His music crossed genres, blending elements of pop and even jazz. And let's not forget his mind-blowing instrumental performances. Whether he was playing the guitar, the banjo, or the fiddle, Roy made it look easy as a child's play. His talent didn't go unnoticed, though. During his career, Roy earned a Grammy, was named CMA's Entertainer of the Year in 1973, and entered the Grand Ole Opry and the Country Music Hall of Fame. Such acknowledgement was due to him after all that he did for the music world. But Roy was more than just a musician and TV star. He was a family man who kept his feet on the ground, despite all his fame. He married Barbara Joyce Rupard back in 1957, and over more than 6 decades, they shared a very rare love story in show business. Roy gave back to his community in multiple ways, supporting music education and even having a school named after him, Roy Clark Elementary in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Despite all his success, Roy remained humble. He once said, "I never considered myself a superstar. I'm just a guy who loves to play music and make people happy." And that's exactly what he did. Unfortunately, Roy passed away on November 15, 2018, at the age of 85, due to complications from pneumonia, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire. Though he is no longer with us, his music and his spirit live on. Roy Clark was more than an entertainer. He was a bridge of generations, bringing country music into the world in an accessible, joyful, and unforgettable fashion. Whether you loved his jokes on Hee Haw or got chills listening to him play Malagena on the guitar, Roy made an impact that will never be forgotten. So here's to Roy Clark, a legend, a trailblazer, and a man who reminded us all that music is about more than just the notes. It's about people, it's about stories, and it's about having fun along the way. Thanks for joining me as we celebrate the life of Roy Clark. If you have a favorite memory of him or one of his songs that you love, drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories about legends like Roy. See you next time.